Howdy folks, welcome to Kayak Outdoors. Currently we are driving down an abandoned highway. Reason being, down here there is no fee to launch a kayak. And most everywhere else on the Allegheny Reservoir you have to pay to launch a kayak outside of Sugar Bay in Pennsylvania, which is a bit of a ride for me. So we're driving down an abandoned highway, gonna launch a kayak, see what we can catch. We're short on time as usual. I've been wanting to fish this spot all summer. I just haven't had the chance to, which is probably just as well because this road is quite rough on my poor vehicle here. But yeah, we'll see what we can catch. We're only going to have 2 hours to fish by the time I launch the kayak, and obviously picking up the kayak less time than that. We're probably going to have like an hour and a half actually on the water, and we'll see what we can catch. Alrighty folks, well, we made it to the launch, and some bad news. There is an algae bloom happening at the moment, which makes the water really nasty. You don't want to touch that stuff or get it on your eyes or anything like that, so I'm going to put on my muck boots. I heard it was bad down at Friends launch. I was hoping up here it wouldn't be bad, but this looks pretty bad. So that's bad news. As you can see, they're draining the reservoir. I don't know what that does to the fishing here. But there are no boats out here or anybody else fishing, so that's not a good sign. Basically, my confidence isn't too high at the moment. Right, well, here we go. This water looks like pea soup right now because of the algae bloom. Absolutely gross. Normally, this reservoir is extremely clean, pretty nice water. I don't know what's causing these algae blooms this year, but pretty gross. I guess the carp like this algae stuff. Heading right into a carp school. Look at them all. Wish I had some bread. Very neat. Look at all them schooled up over there. They're all eating the algae. Well, this is a neat experience anyway. We're not catching any fish, but cool seeing these carp. I should have brought the bait fishing rods. Or a fly fishing rod or something. Tried fly fishing for carp. This river's just full of carp feed. No, hey look, there's a green heron. Sean, finally. What do we got? Little smallie? Yep, little smallmouth. This water's so gross, I don't really want to touch anything. Again, normally the water here is super, super clean. Don't get the wrong idea. This is not like a polluted water or anything like that. It's just with this algae bloom happening. Everything's pea soup, and blue-green algae, from what I hear, isn't something that you want to mess with. Alright, let that guy go. It's like going through it reminds me of those videos of people on the Mississippi River where the carp are jumping at your boat. This is like a minefield in here. You just go by and all of a sudden a big carp splashes right next to you. They're just everywhere here today, feeding on that algae. I think we better get out of this area. The algae was getting better for a while, and all of a sudden it's getting worse. You see there's another pot of carp right in front of us. They're going to spook in a second. Just waiting for them to freak out. There they go. Holy cow, there's just carp everywhere in here. I can just tell from this tree here, the water's not very deep here. So right here we are on a flat. We are out of the main river channel. So instead of throwing that tube, I'm going to switch up to the X-Wrap because flats are definitely better for pike, and the river channel where we were fishing is going to be better for smallmouth and walleye, which is why we were using the tube and bouncing it off the bottom. But in here, we're going to use this X-Wrap, which stays a little bit higher in the water column. And these flats are usually full of, there's both homemade, or not homemade, but man-made fish structures out here, and trees and stuff that wash into the reservoir, like that one behind me. And we just want to pull this X-Wrap, whip it over that submerged habitat, and that's where the pike are going to be hanging out to ambush whatever bait fish swim over top. I don't know how the fishing's going to be back here, but this is a neat area just to check out. This is an old railroad bed, or an old road bed. Crazy. You're fishing on top of, abandoned towns and stuff whenever you're out here on the reservoir. Here's the bad sign. Whenever you see bugs all over the water and no fish eating them, typically means there's not fish there. Alrighty folks, well I think we're going to call it quits while we still have some lights. Fortunately just that one smallmouth today. Fishing was pretty slow, but I still just enjoyed being out on the kayak. Should have fished out here this spring, but I was doing so well from shore this spring it didn't make sense to launch the kayak, so I still enjoyed myself today. This is just a gorgeous area to kayak. We're gonna call it quits before dark. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe. I might combine this with another video, we'll see. Alrighty, here we go. Howdy folks, welcome back to free kayak fishing with Cray Outdoors. No part of me is looking forward to bringing the kayak down this hill. Oh boy, here we go. Thinking about just freaking throwing it. Leg cramp, here we go. Oh boy. Whew. Eek. Come on, where's the trail, I can't see the trail. Now I can see the trail. Here we go. This is crazy. And this is the easy part, man. Bringing the kayak down this hill. It's gonna be a heck of a lot easier than bringing it back up at the end of the day. But, once again, here, unlike the Untitled Marina, you don't need to pay to carry a kayak down here. So, we're gonna try fishing here today and see what we can catch. And what's happening here is they're drawing down the reservoir, the Allegheny Reservoir, for the season. Each year they drop it down about 30 feet for the winter, and then during the spring, after the spring flooding, they fill it back up again 30 feet for the summer. But yeah, there's a very specific amount of time. It's a very specific time period. This is probably like the only weekend of the year that it's possible to actually kayak through that sluice pipe right there and get onto the main reservoir. And I heard that that area is good kayak fishing. So while the reservoir is at this level, we're gonna go through that sluice pipe and see what we can catch on the main reservoir. During the summer it's too high, the water level's up over that sluice pipe, and during the winter it's too low. This completely drains from water, this entire bay completely. You know, a week from now this is going to be completely drained, and you won't be able to get a kayak through there. So we're going to take advantage of this while we can and see what we can catch out here today. Alrighty, well, I think it's finally our turn to head through the sluice. Interestingly enough, there was a john boat in here. I guess this is a more popular fishing spot than I thought. I forget that there's other boats out there besides kayaks. So they must have came from one of the marinas where you pay to launch a boat. Anyway, yeah, now that the sluice is free, I guess we better head on through it before it gets too late. Echo! Echo! This is interesting. Alright, well, this is definitely an interesting kayak experience in general. Never kayaked through anything quite like this before. Again, this is probably the only weekend of the year that you can actually kayak through this pipe. I heard those guys talking. They were hanging out in here for a while on that john boat, which is interesting. Again, people are taking advantage of the water while it's at this level where you can hang out in these culverts. I'd imagine it'd probably be decent fishing too. I mean, all the fish that made their way into that bay are probably going to be making their way through here. But anyway, out into paradise we are. Beautiful out here. Wow, look at the sky. It's crazy. How crazy. It's in such a dark, scary place, and then boom, into it's like descending into heaven. Got a dead bait fish there floating. It's not a good sign for this area. You got dead bait fish floating around like that, that means nothing's eating them. Well, we're not catching any fish, but check out that view. Looks like a painting out here. It is awesome. The leaves are just starting to turn color too for the fall. Absolutely gorgeous out here today. Absolutely gorgeous. I only found an area that looks like it might be good fishing. It's shaded, there's some structure, but it looks like there's some bald eagles down there harassing a great blue heron. Now I kind of want to go and see what's going on. I hear the heron screaming, I hear the eagles calling. I just see those eagles circling like crazy over there. I think there's 3 of them. I think there's 2 adults and a juvenile. There goes the great blue heron. Looks like it's finally leaving. It's crazy. Man, I know I'm not picking any of this up with the camera. They're way too far away. You can hear the heron. Finally had a hit. First hit of the day, baby. Got a fish. What have we got? Silver bass. Or white bass. Alright. So start. I've gone through like every lure in my tackle box. I caught this thing trolling on a scatter wrap. It's an old lure that I found that I believe I used this crankbait, or I believe it was on sale for like a couple bucks at Walmart, and it was normally like 10 bucks, so I picked it up a couple years ago. I think it was my first time actually throwing it. I don't throw crankbaits too often. Usually it's just too weedy, shallow and weedy where I fish, but here in the Allegheny Reservoir it's deep enough and not weedy enough, so I guess we'll keep trolling with this thing. We finally got a fish, man. We've been fishing out here for hours. That's the first fish we've got. Another big hit trolling, that one bigger than the last. Didn't hook up though, whatever it was. Whew. that was a big fish. It actually, took some drag, unless I hit a snag. You never know for sure. Well, unfortunately our day on the water is coming to an end here. We certainly want to get out of here before dark. I don't want to be bringing this kayak and all the fishing stuff up the hill once it's dark out, so back through the tunnel we shall go. Alright, back to base camp. Try a few last casts and we better call it quits. Alright, we're calling it finally. Nice somebody made a little rock cairn here, so you know where the trail is. We're calling it quits. Man, I fished for about 6 hours out on the reservoir today. We caught one little white bass. Pretty poor fishing. They just started drawing this reservoir down. It's dropping in a hurry this week. So I think the fish are just adjusting to it still. Lots of other boats out there fishing. I didn't see anybody doing anything. And the way the boats were driving around to the different spots, there was actually somebody in a John boat in the sluice pipe when I first got here. Everybody was clearly desperate and not catching anything. So I think it's just the nature of the drawdown. The fish are adjusting still. Well, today continues to be gorgeous. I don't know how you can see, or how well you can see on the camera. Just a gorgeous sunset. It's past the peak now. The peak was while I was loading all the fishing stuff out of the kayak and into the car. Now for the hardest part of this whole journey, bringing this kayak back up this hill. And here we go. Up the hill we go. I'm gonna throw this thing over the guardrail. Whew. Alrighty guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Check out some of my other videos fishing at the Allegheny Reservoir. If you want to see me actually catching fish, I'll link some in the description. Till next time, we'll catch you in the next fishing adventure.